Good evening, everyone. This is your evening news recap, your nightly news podcast on all the news that I come across throughout the day, giving you my take as somebody who aspires to be a politician in the near future. Hopefully, all you guys doing wonderful. Hopefully, all you guys are doing well. Today is the 3rd of March, and it is Tuesday. Hopefully, all you guys are having a wonderful week so far. If you're new here, please consider subscribing as we are trying to reach 1,000 subscribers on YouTube by this summer. And if you're on Substack, please consider subscribing as well. It's $8 a month. All funds go to me. Helps me pay for the things I need to pay for in my life, like my groceries, clothing, and all of that. Outside of that, hopefully all you guys are doing amazing. And let's get right into today's episode. Moving on into our headlines in history as we do. The headline we have from today is from March 3rd of 1985 and is titled VCRs Bring Big Changes to the Use of Leisure. The video cassette recorder, the Times reported, has brought about the most fundamental change to the way Americans enjoyed film entertainment since the post-war expansion of commercial television. More than 17 million video cassette recorders were used, and over 20,000 new units were sold a day, and the film rental business was booming. It's cheaper than going out, one woman said. We don't have to worry about babysitters. I can make the popcorn myself instead of paying $1.50 for it. This, of course, is about the creation of the VCR, which is crazy to say that is not used technology at all anymore. We used the VCRs a little bit when I was younger. I remember them being used in classrooms, and I also remember them being used at home. Or not at home. My grandparents had a VCR, and I watched a lot of Disney movies on them growing up. VCR has been a very, very vital part of my life. But it's crazy to say that it's not even, being used anymore. I'm sure it is for a lot of you guys as well. That's just not even technology, and it seems like even like the DVD era was just jumped past, right? I mean, people do everything digitally now, which is crazy to me. Am one for physical media. I love physical media. I could open my drawer right here next to me, and I would be pulling out CDs from bands, DVDs from movies and shows, video games. I'm big on having physical media. I love owning all my stuff. I want to own all my stuff rather than having it on the internet. I think a lot of people should. I think it's a great thing to own physical media. I know it's not contributing to all of the eco waste, but I hold on to most of my media, so that's my defense for it. Outside of that, though, I think it is crazy that a VCR is just like ancient relic technology now. Like that to me, just I'm sure it blows other people's minds more than me, but I grew up using VCRs all the time, and the fact that it is just considered ancient technology and people don't even know what that is to me is wild. Anyways, we'll move on into the Trump administration segment now as we do. The first topic we have for today is Trump has said that the United States will make sure there is trade in the Strait of Hormuz. Trump has taken to Truth Social, claiming that the Strait of Hormuz used to will be used for trade, and Iran cannot close it, even threatening to use U.S. naval assets to protect the ships. In this post, he wrote, "Effective immediately, I have ordered the United States Development Finance Corporation, DFCA, to provide at a very reasonable price political risk insurance and guarantees for the financial security of all maritime trade, especially traveling through the Gulf. This will be available through the shipping lines. If necessary, the United States will be escorting tankers through the Strait of Hormuz as soon as possible. No matter what, the United States will ensure the free flow of energy to the world. The United States' economic and military might is the greatest on earth. More actions to come. Thank you for your attention to this matter. President Donald J. Trump." Iran has the Iran, not Iran. Iran has the capability to do this and has full right to do so, being on the border of the strait. Right, Oman could do it as well. I believe all of the other countries in the strait have the ability to close off anything near their waters. It's how territorial waters work, right? If you control the entrance to the strait, you can close it. Oman can do the same, right? Uh, Us combating this only escalates this and only creates more problems in the conflict, which is to be expected. I think we all know that we're in the long haul for this one. It's not going to be an in and out like Venezuela. And I would love to see Congress put an end to this one, but I don't think we're going to see that anytime soon either. Israel has this funny thing where they control what happens here when it comes to wartime in the Middle East, and really, when it comes to a lot of things going on in this country, right? Which is a big deal. But outside of that, I just don't see this conflict going or ending anytime soon. I think it's going to be dragged out just because of the fact that Iran is going to retaliate against the United States. They're not just going to let the United States and Israel bomb them over and over and over again. We're going to see retaliation. And I think the United States and Israel also want to see a regime change in the country as soon as possible. And whether that is successful or not is for the future to decide. Never really has been, but we'll have to wait and see. Take a sip of water while I can. In other news, the FBI has fired dozens of agents that have specialties in the Middle East a week before, the war in Iran. FBI Director Kash Patel has reportedly fired dozens of FBI agents who worked in the probe into the Trump and his first administration days before the Iranian war. The agents fired last Wednesday after the White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles had her phone subpoenaed as part of the probe. This unit, a global espionage unit, would normally be working right now on probes into illegal media leaks, mishandling of documents, and other things involved in the Middle East, and was filled to the brim with agents trained on threats and spy operations with a special focus on the Middle East, including Iran. A group that would normally be a key part in the operation was fired a week before the operation even took place. Yeah, sure. Let's fire a bunch of people with immense amount of knowledge on this region before we bomb it, because that's a great idea. Totally, 100%. Great idea, guys. Granted, at this point, I'd argue that the Middle East is, in a way, the United States specialty, and I'm sure that we have a plethora of very educated people on it. But all of them had a special focus on Iran, and I think that would be very, very useful right now, right? I mean, come on, guys, are we not communicating on the inside at least a little bit? Like, at least a little bit. You'd think that the FBI would have at least a week's notice before we go into war and bomb another country. And I don't know what's going on the inside. I'm not an inside person, never been on the inside, right? But you'd think we would get at least a week notice. You'd think. You think like that would just be a, oh yeah, let's let these guys know because they're gonna have a useful role in this one. And we don't want them to fire a bunch of people before we go into this country because those people could be useful. I mean, to me, that just seems like common sense, right? Maybe I'm missing something, but that just seems like common sense, something this administration very clearly lacks. But I mean, come on, guys. Can we not at least just communicate on the inside? If we're going to be a terrible government, we could at least be efficient. Anyways, moving on into our other news segment as we do. This is mostly just a combination of the Iranian war stuff coming out of that. I really didn't know where to go with this one, so it's called other news. But it's a lot about things in relation to the Iranian war. Gas prices. They're jumping up. Gas prices have jumped overnight, now going up 11 cents on the gallon as the war in Iran slows the full flow of oil shipments immensely. Depending on how long this lasts, we could see increases on the dollar within the next coming weeks, which will have impacts across the country in a variety of sectors, whether that's in grocery, whether that's in tech, whatever it is in. I mean, we use gas in literally everything for transportation to get places from point A to point B. That's the main thing where you're going to see price increases in. But gas is literally used for everything, and if you were struggling with costs now, brace yourself, folks, because it's likely going to get worse. We're going to see the impact on prices everywhere because oil is used everywhere. It gets your groceries from the farm to the store. And all the other places in between, right? It gets, your Amazon packages to your house and all the other places in between. It gets you to work. It gets you to where you need to be. It fills your car. Like, I can go on and on and on, and I'm not going to because I shouldn't need to, right? But I could. And it's going to have impacts because these industries are so important. I mean, something goes up. If gas is costing more, prices are going to cost more automatically. I mean that's just a no-brainer. The more the cost of gas goes up, the more cost of everything goes up. And I know a lot of us would love to see that this is just going to be a quick in and out thing like Venezuela, like I said before, but in reality, it's not going to be. It's going to be a conflict that is going to be at least weeks long, and it's going to have a lasting impact in one way or another. I think the oil industry is going to feel this for quite a bit. especially Europe right now, who is a main center point in the trade of oil and the flow of oil, right? Because they're right there. They're right in the Middle East. It goes to Europe, then it ships out of Europe to the United States and the rest of the world, right? And I believe some of it also goes towards China and all. I'm not going to go into the skeptics of oil trade, right? But like, this is going to have a lot of impacts around the world and a lot of lasting impacts around the world, especially in the United States and especially in your day to day lives. Like I said, gas is used for everything. We all know that. Anyways, in other news, Spain has cut off all of the U.S. joint military bases for the time being. Spain has prohibited the United States from using Rota and Moron military bases for strikes in Iran. Due to this, Trump has threatened to cut off all trade with Spain because it required the U.S. to relocate aircraft and other assets. Spain's foreign minister, Jose Manuel Alvarez, said that the bases cannot be used for operations unauthorized by the UN Charter, which led to a large amount of criticism from Trump in the White House, calling them terrible, going on to say, "We're going to cut off all trade. We don't want anything to do with Spain. It could be tomorrow or today, even better. Stop everything having to do with Spain, all business having to do with Spain." It's not like every country is going to be cheering for us when we're bombing another country in the Middle East for essentially no reason. In fact, I'd argue that's a pretty understandable reason not to be cheering for us. Um, I mean, if you were Spain, would you want your joint military bases bombed? No, no, absolutely not. If I'm the United States, I don't want my joint military bases bombed if I'm not in the conflict, right? Like, at the end of the day, nobody wants their bases bombed. Nobody wants their territory bombed. Nobody wants their land bombed, right? And these bases are on Spanish land. What? That's crazy. Uh, you know, Threatening to cut off trade only sours our relations more and more, which does not help either sides. It really does not. It is completely and totally understandable that Spain does not want to have U.S. assets and all of that be used, and have Iran possibly bombing their territory. That is completely and totally understandable. I understand that completely, and I would assume most people do as well, right? Um, I mean, there is no reason for us to be upset here. It's a whole lot of nothing, and I mean, Trump is going to do what Trump does. Anyways, moving on into our final topic for tonight. This is a really big one as we're still on the crusade bit. U.S. military troops are being told that the Iran war is biblically sanctioned. U.S. military commanders are using extremist Christian rhetoric to justify the involvement in the Iran war. I wish I could say that correctly. The Iran war, according to new reports from The Guardian, the Military Religious Freedom Foundation received more than 200 reports from service members across all branches complaining about this. One complaint said their commander had urged us to tell our troops that it was all a part of God's divine plan. He said he specifically referenced numerous citations about the book of Revelation, referring to Armageddon and the imminent return of Jesus Christ. Why are we still on the crusade bit? Truly, why is the country that was founded on the freedom of religion telling its troops that attacking Iran is a part of God's divine plan? I mean, I don't even know what timeline I'm in right now, but get me the hell out. Am I shocked about this? No, absolutely not. The United States has very clearly become a massive Christian nationalist nation. It's a problem here. It really is. But this is insane. No administration should be pushing religion onto their troops, especially in the United States, and especially for the reasoning of war. Why are we justifying war with religion? I mean, in 2026, why are we justifying war with religion? Who the hell do we think we are? We're the United States. We're not some country that is only allowing specific people. We're not some Christian country who is only allowing Christian people to live here. And all the other religions can go fuck themselves, right? That's not the United States. The United States is a country where all religions can practice and be, whoever they want to be, right? Why? Why are we on the crusade bit? Come on, guys. Genuine, there is no reason for us to be doing this right now. There's no reason. The Christian nationalist thing is the stupidest thing ever because it makes no sense for the basis and the belief system of the United States, right? And of course, this has been an issue for ever in this country, right? I mean, we inspired the Nazi movement in Germany. We inspired a lot of their belief system. Like the United States forever has been this white Christian nationalist problem, right? And this is just an amalgamation. All of it's coming out now because it needed to come out eventually. But I mean, it is just insane to hear that they are using Christianity and the Bible to justify bombing and killing children, schools, and all of that. To think that the religion that is all love thy neighbor, respect those around you, treat those all around you as just like you're gonna be kind to all of those around you, because that's what Christianity is. You're kind to all of those around you, you treat everyone around you the same. That's kind of the basis of it in a way. Not You get what I'm trying to say. And the fact that it is being used to support a war in Iran, to me, is insane. With that being said, though, thank you everyone for watching today's episode. Hope you all enjoyed. It has definitely been a very interesting day in the news world, that is for sure. If you're new here, though, please consider subscribing. All the support would be greatly appreciated, as we're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers on YouTube by this summer. And if you're on Substack, please consider subscribing as well. It's $8 a month, and all funds go to me. Helps me pay for the things that I need to pay for in my life, like my groceries, clothing, and all of that. I want to give a huge thank you to our paid subs in Sean Zone and Nan. And I want to give a huge thank you to Mary for donating $15. It truly means the world to me to get all of these donations. And if you want to join as well or donate, truly, I would appreciate it so much. This is a viewer-supported show, so all the support is greatly appreciated. Be a paid subscriber on Substack. Go check out my Venmo. It's on a list of platforms out there if you're interested in that. Or drop a comment, and I'll let you know what it is. And outside of that, thank you all for watching today's episode. I truly do hope that you all enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one.